I think what is like the salient feature of this movie, if you see, one of the USPs would be performances of all the actors. I think all of us came into this movie realizing that we won't be just essaying some character. We're going to be doing something memorable and something that's very significant and something which will leave a mark, not just as a message, but anyone seeing this film will remember our characters for a long time. I think that same thing happened to me. And the fact that it was Ranjit kind of like was, creme de la creme. So I felt like, I mean, what more can I ask? And working with it's totally mutual, the admiration Parvathy and I have for each other. We were waiting to do a film together, and I really love the way she was the perfect buffer for the Gangama for my Thangalaan, and those scenes have really come out well, and a lot of people are talking about our performance or the way we interacted with each other. That's a huge segment of the film, which is like, in a film that's only adventure, a film that's got so much of action and mythical stuff and magic realism, you have the core thing is a family and his love for his people. And that family was, though we have 5 children, you see all that love happens through the 2 of us. And that was so beautiful. Thank you, Parvathy, for being that perfect Gangama. And we had other people, like Malavika has got such a fantastic role that she's essayed, which is it's a one-off. I mean, I don't think you can see many of those kind of characters. Ranjit's always been known for making his women strong. This movie you'll find everybody equal or stronger than the men sometimes. And that I thought was very liberating. Like Malavika was saying that her character will teach someone that maybe a young girl watching the film to be stronger, while my character will teach men and young boys that you can be vulnerable. You don't have to be strong all the time. You can let a woman take over. It's that kind of a thing. Having said that, he's not a wimp or he's not somebody, he's a weakling or something. He's a hero. He's a leader. He takes them on a quest, not just for gold, like he says, to search for his identity or his true self. But all of that, he's also a family man. He also is vulnerable. He's prone. He's grey. He's scarred. It makes him, I like those layers, all the layers that he put in. And I felt more than acting, it was for me rediscovering something of me that I had forgotten, maybe discovering my identity as a person or where I come from. And that was very liberating. And when you work with him, I realized that it is not just the craft, it's also there's a search, the search always going, like Gangama always talks about that thing where she found Gangama, and I felt the same way about Thangalaan. There were so many facets of him which I didn't know I possess. And like I was saying during the audio launch, there's so many things through the story that happened to me, my struggle, to reach that dream of mine to be an actor, is like how he went around looking for gold. So I could identify with him so much, and I'm the better person now that I've done the film. And thank you, Ranjit, for creating that and being that person who is a staunch believer in his beliefs, who doesn't buckle under pressure, who's a pain sometimes because he's so strongly like opinionated about something. But when you work with creators like this, you know that it's just not, a painting that he's doing. There are so many other ways to see that work of art. And I think Thangalaan is going to be that special film for a lot of people. It will make you identify with it, or it will make you question it. It will make you love it, or it will make you hate it. You cannot ignore it and say, oh, it's a film. It's a film you'll want to watch, at least to thrash it. Why is he saying that? It could be wrong. Which is what is happening in Chennai, in Andhra, where people are loving the film, or they're saying, how can he say that? Or what happened here? Why would that be the case, So he started a conversation, which is what cinema is all about, right? I think this movie is more about, we want to be a blockbuster, we want it to reach everywhere, all of that is there. But we also feel that this is one time when, right from the director to the last spot boy, everybody felt so involved in the film that whenever there was no shooting, you'll have some guy, one of these people will be giving an interview saying, oh my God, you know what we did, what we went through, it was harrowing, and then we used to dress like this and it was so scary at first, and then we got used to it, and then they laugh, they'll giggle, and they'll all be sitting like in good clothes and looking very stylish with, hairdos and stuff, and they say, how we used to look in the film, this happened. I don't think they've done this for any other film. They may go and say, yeah, we did this film. But here they had so much to, just the very making, the very travel itself made them want to say so much. Which means, imagine the film, what he wants to say in the film. It is hard-hitting, but at the same time, he didn't want to make it into just a film that's, just a message, a film with a message. Instead, he's made it into a fantasy, he's made it into like a Indiana Jones. There could be adventure in it, there's fantasy in it, there's magical realism in it. At the same time, it's hardcore, it's raw, there's familial values in it. And there's bond, it's about people, it's about their search for something which may not be just gold finally. gold could just be a metaphor. What happened? And this will apply to anybody. And I think this kind of a setup happened everywhere in India, not just in Tamil Nadu. Everywhere people will be identifying in some way with oppression or with their search for something, or with just their want to be liberated from the very shackles of society, or like being curbed of their freedom, all of that. And I think he's tried to make it in as, interesting a way as possible, so that you don't sit there and think, okay, he's preaching, I like the way he's handled it. And he's been very unapologetic about it. Some of those things he won't even explain, he'll just leave it hanging there. Like, you make your own thing about it. What do you want to do? How do you want to understand this? Do it. And he's kept an open ending, which again maybe there's going to be there's a sequel to it, or maybe not. Maybe this is what he wants to do. Maybe he wants you to give the climax, stuff like that. But I'm not saying there is an ending, of course, but everything in the movie will be like that.